These hydro gear ZT5400s are on a 2017 SCAG Cheetah. We'll go under and take a look at it. The 5400 with the oil filter removed. A lot going on inside these hydro gears. Pretty impressive. On these 5400s, when they're in a normal operating state, the slot is horizontal, and you'll see a roll pin here. In other words, you can't go counterclockwise. This is the left motor. And some of them stress only go a quarter turn. You can't go any more than a quarter turn. This, the bypass is off. It's in normal operating position, like you were going to mow the yard. Now we're going to take it off bypass so we can purge the air out of it once we get our oil back into the hydro gear. All you do, you'll feel a slight detent. See the roll pin? It's got a stop pin or a roll pin here. You're going to go exactly a quarter turn and hit another hard stop. You can't go any further. The slot is vertical. And after we get oil in the system, you're going to do the same thing. You're just going to go back. Very easy. It even snaps in place there. That's how easy it is. Check this oil out. This oil only has 167 hours on it, but it's 2 years old. SCAG and hydro gear wants them changed every 12 months, regardless of the number of hours on it. And I talked to Hydro Gear down at the GIE Expo. That's the Green Industry Expo in Louisville, Kentucky. And he said it probably should be done every year. I'm having a problem with that, so I'm going 2 years. My oil is in this kind of shape. It's in very good shape. It has no smell to it. It smells like motor oil. So I have no problem running 2 years on this. SCAG says every 500 hours or 1 year, whichever comes first. I'm going to show you the oil filter that came out of this. It's probably not going to show up good, but down between the pleats. This is really more of a testament to the machining and engineering of the Hydro Gear 5400 than it is the oil. This is not synthetic oil, guys. This is dino. Matter of fact, I bought it at O'Reilly's. It's O'Reilly's Premium 20W50. There's no metal in them at all. Of course, that's only 167 hours. Might be hard to see, but I want you to take a look at the cooling fans and the operating pulleys that sits on top of these 5400s. And I want to tell you something about oil temperatures. So in SCAG's brochure, they claim they use oversized pulleys and they spin the fans faster than what's considered normal, and it keeps the hydro gear units cooler. Supposedly keeps the oil cooler. That's why SCAG doesn't specify a synthetic oil. It doesn't get hot enough to demand a synthetic oil. Well, I had to put that to the test. So last year we had a 94-degree temperature day. It's been 1 and 2 o'clock. One of us was on this SCAG and one was on the John Deere 1025R. The only load on it was a 60-inch 60D mid-mount mower deck. We ran for 2 hours straight. I jumped off with a temp gun. We parked side by side. I measured the oil temperature on these 5400s. They measured 165 degrees. Shot right onto the casing. That's not bad. Went over to the John Deere 1025R and shot several points on it. Basically, the hydraulic pump, the entire transmission unit was setting at 185 degrees. So last year, while down to the GIE Expo in Louisville, I always stop there and talk to the hydro gear guys, and I asked them about it because I forgot the year before. I wanted them to basically tell me if there's anything to that on increasing that pulley speed, thus increasing the fan speed to make the unit run cooler, just to move more air over. And he confirmed that some manufacturers can do that. He said, we will ship out a hydro gear unit to their specifications, but each manufacturer can specify his own size pulley or basically his own speed. And of course, he's in a position where he can't name names, and he never. He said that was a pretty good test. And it does indicate that if you do speed up the fan speed, that you can in fact remove more heat from the unit. But on the other hand, how hot's 185 degrees? Oil's not going to break down at 185, but that's one of the reasons SCAG can recommend a 20W50 engine oil in these motors. It's not getting hot enough to require synthetics. With the drain plugs, the ones located in front of the hydro gear, got to be very careful. The plugs are steel. They have an O-ring. SCAG specifies torque settings. Keep in mind it's in inch-pounds. 32 to 42 inch-pounds. If you don't have an inch-pound torque wrench, be very careful. Don't over-tighten them. Dozens of these have been stripped out. You can read online and hear guys talking about it. They're very easy to strip. Keep in mind they have an O-ring. It's not a pipe thread. The O-ring's doing the sealing. The casing is aluminum. The plug is steel. Very easy to strip. It basically goes up till it stops turning, and you're not going to gain any more. You're just going to tighten it a little bit more. I'm using an inch-pound torque wrench set on 40. And it rotates. I'm going to rotate it one more time. We'll change out the O-ring. I just dipped my finger in some of the old oil, which is really pretty clean. Probably should have oiled that O-ring before I put it on between my two fingers, but just gotta be careful you don't damage it taking it off. Put a little bit of oil on this inner rubber seal on the gas, on the filter, and he just slides in. Cap holds him in place. I cannot find any torque specs on this cap, but when it stops pretty hard. I mean, that's it. This is just a standard 1/2 inch ratchet. I'm not putting any significant amount of torque on it. And you'll do the other one the same way. Okay, we've got the filters on. Everything's tightened up. We're ready to fill. The last time I followed instructions and removed the purge ports on top. It's that silver screw right here. Right here, there's one on each side. It's the same thing as the drain plug, 32 to 42 inch-pounds. This one is a little bit harder to get. You can see them down there. I'm going to try something different. I was reading some of the service threads online, and a guy said that he has left his purge ports in and just went ahead and refilled it. It takes longer because the air's got to work its way up through it. I'm going to time it, see just how long it takes. This may not work worth a darn. I may have to remove the purge ports. Just going to wait and see. Last time I never caught it in time, and I went through about 3 cans of brake clean, cleaning them hydro gear motors off. Just seen a big air bubble come up. There goes one. I think I'd rather go this route than have to make a mess. It's so hard to see that oil when it gets to the top of that motor, and if you don't catch it just right, it'll just run over. She holds about 10 quarts. Now on a SCAG, this one reservoir is common to both motors. This line here going down fills the left one. This one you can see crossing over, take care of the right one. Because I can't trust SCAG's operator's manual on everything. You about have to double check everything you read in this owner's manual, and I'll show you why. They paid engineers or designers or both to write this manual, but they never paid anyone to proofread it. I'll give you an example. Changing engine crankcase oil. After the first 20 hours of operation, change the engine crankcase oil and replace the filter. Thereafter, change the engine crankcase oil after every 100 hours of operation or bi-weekly, whichever occurs first. Bi-weekly, I'm going to assume they mean every 2 weeks and not twice a week. And then refer to the engine operator's manual furnished with this more for instructions. So there's the first typo. They want the engine oil changed every 100 hours of operation or bi-weekly, whichever occurs first. Well, that's plumb stupid. And this one's about as bad. Changing the engine oil filter. After the first 20 hours of operation, replace the engine oil filter. Thereafter, replace the oil filter after every 200 hours of operation or every month, whichever occurs first. Now think about that. Replace the oil filter on the engine every 200 hours of operation or every month, whichever occurs first. They're basically telling you, if you don't run 200 hours a month, to come out here and screw on a new oil filter every month. No one proofreads these manuals. I don't trust it as far as I could throw it. It's kind of I use it for kind of a reference. I just don't know how this stuff gets past quality control. Oh well, other than that, I love the mower. It's been 1 hour and 4 minutes. That's 5 quarts down, 5 to go. It's going to be slower. Should be guaranteed no mess though. Okay, I'll give you an update. We filled up the left motor. It took the 5 quarts. I can't get any to transfer over to the right motor, so I'm going to go ahead and take the purge port out. It's been sitting right there for probably 20 minutes. I can't even get an air bubble every now and then or a gurgle out of it, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that port and see how it behaves. Okay, it's a 7/16. What I did, you can see it's loose and wobbly without taking it all the way out. That way I don't have to worry about restarting the threads. Air should be able to escape right there. And that's all it took. That oil was staying right at the bottom of the funnel, and I think we're about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch below it, so it's taking it. Okay, after removing that purge port on the right motor, it took about another 30 or 40 minutes. So the bypass valves are open on both motors, so I'm going to go ahead and get in there and cycle the sticks. With the bypass valves open, it still acted like it wanted to move forward and backward, so I just did it about 3 times. I apologize, the battery went out of the camera, so I was not recording. I went ahead and closed the bypass valves, so we're in normal operation now. And there shouldn't be any air in the system because it specifies 10 quarts, and that's exactly what I have in it, with just about a 1/2 inch the bottom of the reservoir. So we'll see how it behaves. So SCAG is saying, or it's not mentioned in their owner's manual, that you have to do anything with the bypass valves. So now I'm beginning to believe it. It seems like air in this system, and having to purge these particular ZT5400 hot roll gears, it doesn't seem to be an issue. So I'm not sure what's going on. I'll talk to them when I go down to GIE in October, down in Louisville. We'll see what's going on. There hadn't been any issues with this. If anything comes up, I'll go ahead and put it in this video. I'll add it under the comment section. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe, and have a good one.